Thank you very much, Kathy. Well, we start here tonight. MTN South Africa says it is using thousands of litres of fuel per month to power generators that are holding up its networks, which is in crisis due to the higher stages of load shedding. The company recently called on any and all companies in the country that have access to extra generators to partner with it as they try to keep their towers and network plugged in. The network operator says was this actually recently dealing with the theft of tower batteries and now have had to contend with load shedding and has created a war room across the country to troubleshoot any issues. Not only is the network affected, but internet services as well. I caught up with MTN SA CEO Charles Molapisi and asked him how big this crisis is.
Anytime our customers cannot access service, anytime our business customers are interrupted, whether it's through the provision of internet or voice, it is a crisis. That crisis could be an internal crisis or it could be a general macro crisis like the one we're facing today. So it is still a crisis, until we arrive at the point whereby under no circumstances should the service for our customers be interrupted. For us as a company, it remains a crisis point. However, I would like to say to the viewers at home that to give them a sense of comfort that we are hard at work as a team. We're mobilizing all our resources, like we've spoken about the genset that we're mobilizing to try and address this general crisis we are facing.
And how has the response been since 3 months ago? You asked any and all businesses that have access to generators to partner with you in order to keep connectivity.
We've had an amazing response, Tolani. The whole issue of crowdsourcing model, I think, is the first of its kind, a rallying call by any other CEO in this market. So we're very proud about that initiative. And I think as a matter of fact, today we'll be, doing a media release with the suppliers that we've managed to find through this process. We received over 5,000 interest into our mailbox. And of course, like a normal process, you need to comb through it. Look at the suppliers, do your proper validation exercise and satisfy yourselves. And we have done that. So I can safely say to South Africans that the program was super successful beyond our own expectations. We are onboarding suppliers today. And then the good part is that we have now created a nice pipeline of local providers. Remember, the reason for doing this is, first of all, to provision service for MTN to deal with the issue that we're facing today. But also, secondly, and most importantly as well, is to create opportunities for our people and to crowdsource and to bring as many people into the mainstream to benefit, from the MTN value chain as much as possible. And we're excited about the success of it. But of course, the eventual success is when all South Africans and who connect to the MTN network can do so without any glitch under any circumstances.
When it comes to connectivity, you have standards that you have set, percentages that you have set. What has happened over the years that you have noticed happened to connectivity in particular that is a direct result of load shedding?
First of all, thank you so much for the question. We are rated by many independent agencies as the #1 network in South Africa, for many years now. And this is really the effort of the leadership over the years and in the current, in terms of investments in the network, maintaining the right level of quality of service. This network is built, and our intent is to provide what we call availability of about 99.8 availability to our customers. So the network, when you want to make a call, must be available to you 99.8% of the time. That's the target that we set for ourselves as a business. But of course, when we are now dealing with the crisis of this magnitude, when you go to stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, that we can manage, because of the provision of batteries on the sides. But when you start to go to about stage 6, it's a prolonged period. The frequency also makes it very difficult for the batteries to charge, and therefore your availability starts to drop. And that's where the quality of service is affected. And that's why you are hearing a lot of concerns from our customers, quite rightly so, by the way, concerned about the provision of service. So there has been some form of erosion. I think stage 6 particularly threatens the key metrics of our organization, and generally our network performance.
How close is South Africa and the consumers? How close are we to a crisis of greater proportions where we could have a blackout, whether it's internet services, whether it is a connectivity?
Look, I think a lot of it depends, as a first point, on Eskom approach going forward. They remain the critical infrastructure provider for us. And the second point is that what then are we doing to avoid the scenario that you are mentioning? That's why the deployment of the different energy mix on our sites, battery rollout, very, very aggressive today. That's what we're doing. And that's why also we are now lining up a number of suppliers for gensets to prevent the situation that you're saying. But also to be clear is that we must see the network in different segments. There is what we call the radio network, which is the towers that you see. Those towers have what we call aggregation nodes, which are sites which connect other sites, and then they move into a data center, which is the buildings where we house the core network, and the gateways and the breakouts into the internet. Those areas are well protected. We have resilience in those areas. We've got gensets. So, to talk about a complete blackout, it means that, all those central nodes should be shut down. That is not something that we are close to be finding ourselves at. I think there's enough redundancy in the infrastructure. And here I think I can talk about all MNOs that we are very responsible. We understand the criticality of the infrastructure. However, at the side-by-side level, this is where the consumer interacts with a tower. That's where you have problems because our network is distributed. But where the network is consolidated, there's enough resilience to protect ourselves, to make sure that the service continue. We are, of course, working with government and industry body to say that some of our critical infrastructure like data centers should be classified differently, just to avoid any possibility of that happening. But in the absence of that, we are over-provisioned in terms of the level of redundancy that is required to provide the service provision for South Africans.
Not to be alarmist, but South African customers, your customers, want to hear some positivity on how exactly you aim to ensure that we don't get to that particular point that I've just mentioned.
Yeah, Tony, thank you so much. I always say in my organization that, we intend to meet this moment, with courage. We will meet this moment, with resilience and with a solutions mindset. I think as leaders of organizations during this particular stage, it is very important that we remain calm and steady and focused to provide solutions. My message to the South Africans and my message to the customers of MTN is to say that we are working around the clock. Trust us that we're going to work very hard to make sure that we deliver this service at the level that is required. 24/7, my team are working on this, and I'm giving the assurance that we're going to do something to try and bring the service back. Thank you very much.